Welcome to my corner of the internet, and I am once again asking you to simp over Ironwood with me. Of course I was gonna come back to him. I told y'all he was one of my favorites. And hey, side note, if you have any topics you want to see me cover, just let me know in the comments and I'll look at them. Now, this time we'll be talking about his semblance, Mettle. If you don't know, Mettle basically strengthens Ironwood's resolve to help him power through certain actions. Now, ever since his semblance was introduced to the fandom, there's been some controversies around it, mainly because it wasn't introduced. Not once did any character mention his semblance by name or brought up its effects on him, which is strange given that Mettle is clearly shown in the show on multiple occasions. We can see it activating when he shoots Oscar, shoots Councilman Sleet, when he was about to shoot Meryl, and before he starts fighting Winter in the finale. Every time that little flicker in his eyes leaves, it's another moment that Mettle is active. This isn't me making an excuse for it not being brought up, because it should have been, but I think the reason it was never specifically mentioned is because they feared everyone would blame his actions on his semblance and not the character himself. Its description on the wiki has it listed as a passive semblance, which means it activates on its own. With that little bit of information, it would be easy for someone to make the claim that he is a slave to his semblance and write off the idea that those are indeed his true intentions. If that's the reason it was never brought up, then I can kinda understand, but at the same time, it should have been written in a way to not allow those thoughts to even start in the first place. Other reasons people don't like it are because they think Ironwood's semblance was bland and unnecessary. It got people thinking that someone like Ironwood, who has an iron will, would have no need for it because he's already determined and motivated to complete his objectives. I mean, he had the mental fortitude to pull his arm out of Watts' trap without needing the push of Mettle being active, right? However, the difference is that taking on that pain is something that Ironwood wanted to do. Every other time where Mettle was active was to start the process of removing an obstacle in his way. It wasn't something he wanted to do, but felt like he needed to if he had any chance of saving Atlas. Why do you think he started crying before he fought Winter in the vault? He laments having to betray his friends and closest allies, but will if it meant getting what he wanted. He sees all of these actions as a necessary evil, but not an evil he can do on his own, and that's where Mettle comes in. Remember, Ironwood thought the main advantage Salem had over them in this war was the fact that she didn't have her humanity to hold her back, that each move she made was determined by its effectiveness regardless of emotion or their potential loss of life. So to fight on a more even playing field, Ironwood used Mettle as a tool to push back, leaving behind his humanity in the process. But I think the semblance works for who Ironwood is as a person. Given what Rin said about semblances and how a person caters to a semblance, or the semblance changes the person, I think Ironwood's rightfully fits with who he is. It creates this unstoppable, unwavering soldier who completes his mission at any cost. Similar to Crow's luck-based semblance, it doesn't have to be flashy for it to be impactful, and it's fun to look back and see it take effect in different scenarios. For me, whenever Mettle activated, it instantly ramped up the suspense of any scene because you knew someone was about to get shot. For who Ironwood was and the role he was made to play, it did what it needed to, by working in tandem with his fear and paranoia to hasten his downfall. But if I'm being honest, it could have been left out of the show completely, and not much of anything would have really been changed. So let me know what you think of Mettle down in the comments, although I know most people are pretty much against it and don't like it, but it's fine. But I mean, it works well enough to me. And subscribe if you want more RWBY content and just anime content in general. And I'll see you in the next video.